Because if you keep watching the game every week, you might find out your wife's getting dunked by Dominique, and that can be so upsetting. So try a little tenderness like Otis Redding. Oh, here goes. And welcome to episode 12 of Throwback Hoops. We all know rappers want to be ballers, and ballers want to be rappers. There have been some great basketball references in hip-hop music over the years. You would have just heard me drop some bars from Big Daddy Kane's 1991 track, The Lover in You. What better way to start the show than quote my favorite MC of all time, Big Daddy Kane, when he name drops my co-host's favorite baller of all time, Dominique Wilkins. What's good, Robbie? You like that, my man?
What's up, Woods? Yeah, I love that one, mate. I was actually playing some Big Daddy Kane this week, so it was pretty fresh in the mind. So forget Goodfellas and take it to see Ghost, right, man?
Exactly, yeah, bro. Nice. What a tune.
It's a great track.
Well, it's great to chop it up with you again, man. And before we just get into it, I just thought I'd tell the audience a little bit about where you can tune into us. Obviously, if you want to watch the show, you can go to our YouTube channel, Throwback Hoops, and then pretty much any podcast channel that you tune into your podcast, you can get the audio version of the show. Can't thank everyone enough for their support. So I guess another great show for us today, Robbie, and we're going to showcase our jerseys as usual.
Yep.
We'll get into some Hawks talk, which we haven't for a couple of weeks. We'll have some NBL discussion. And what a classic pack I have for us to open this week. I got the 94-95 Ultra Flare Series 2. So it's a new one for us, Robbie.
It is a first. Yeah, bring it on. Looking forward to that.
Totally. So let's get into it, Robbie. Why don't you showcase your jersey or jerseys for the day on this episode? Yeah.
Sounds good, my man. So look, I'll start, I guess, with the one hanging up today. So you can see the old school red Portland Trailblazers jersey in the background. It's none other than Gorwin Wells. Who? Bonzi Wells, right?
Bonzi.
So yeah, Bonzi, after he was named Bon by his parents, which eventually got shortened to Bonzi. Now Bonzi, look, he definitely had that bit of a cult following throughout his career, didn't he? He was part of those, Jailblazers. Got a lot of attention, yeah. So Bonzi played for 5 teams over 10 seasons in the NBA. Drafted out of Ball State at pick 11 by the Pistons in the '98 draft. So I was doing a bit of investigating. Bonzi is currently a Division II head coach for the Lemoyne Owen Magicians. And also his last playing stop was when he was in the Big Three, where he was playing against my boy Josh Smith there. So yeah, Bonzi, I really like the way this guy played back in the day. Just wanted to, I guess, pay a little bit of homage to Bonzi there, right?
And played in China for a while as well.
He did, yeah. He's one of those players that finished up over there. And actually reading about it, I hadn't even realised, Woods, but he actually suffered a heart attack about 4 years ago, which luckily he recovered from. Yeah, he's only in his mid-40s. So, yeah, he's obviously doing the coaching role now in the Division II school there. So, yeah, a bit of a blast from the past, right, with Bonzi?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, and look, I guess the one I'm wearing today, so I'll just stand up and show you. It's a very busy jersey at the back of it. You'll see what I mean when I stand up, and I'll tell you a little bit about this guy as well.
Yeah, so for the listeners who can't see the video version of the show, Robbie's wearing a yellow Wildcats classic Greg Hire jersey. Recently retired Greg Hire. What a legend. I know, Robbie, Greg Hire is someone that you liked a lot,
Big time, man. You know how much I like Greg Hire, so affectionately nicknamed the Mayor of Wanneroo. Greg Hire played 9 years with the NBL's greatest ever team, the Perth Wildcats. So, yeah, started off as a development player and ended up becoming a vice captain and a 4-time champion while playing over 200 games. So he really carved a great career there. And what I liked about Greg Hire there, Woods, is he was a lifetime Wildcats fan growing up there, and for him to do that. And look, I really do think he got the most out of his career. He wasn't the greatest skilled player, but he seemed to add some stuff each year. He developed a pretty decent 3-point shot, and obviously a great defender, and he could handle the ball and everything else like that. So yeah, just wanted to, I guess, talk about the Mayor of Wanneroo, Greg Hire, today. So, and look, in terms of this jersey I'm wearing, it's a pretty random Wildcats heritage jersey that's, paying homage to the West State Wildcats. So for those that don't know, that was the name that the Wildcats were from 82 until changing the Wildcats name in 84. And looking at the back of this jersey today, Woods, it had every player's name at the time when this jersey came out that had played for the Wildcats. So it was a real trip down memory lane. One that really stands out at the back, and a lot of people might not remember he played for the Wildcats, is none other than Luke Longley, right? So,
yep.
Do you remember anything about Longley? Do you know how many games he played for the Wildcats there, Woods?
Would have been less than 10?
He played 2
Yeah.
games and he scored
Right.
2 points. So
Right. Okay. Yeah.
interestingly, his dad actually was played, I think, about 8 games for Wildcats 2 years before that, and also Longley's older brother Griffin also had a few games of the Wildcats there. So yeah, a bit of a blast from the past with that one, but yeah, as we sort of spoke about, Greg High is someone that I really looked up to. I loved his sort of work ethic and the way he went about things, and I should also mention as well, Woods, he is sort of really sort of involved at the moment. In terms of like an ambassador for youth mental health and everything else like that in Perth. And
Yep,
we've touched on that in the past. That's something that does mean a lot for us there. So yeah, that's great. That sort of Greg's sort of continuing to sort of be in the community and sort of give back and help people out. He's also still playing. He's playing with playing with Rockingham in the NBL 1. So he's only 34, Woods. It seems like he might have been a bit older, right? But only 34, and I'm sure he's still probably throwing himself at everything in those NBL 1 games. So yeah, that's my sort of trip down memory lane, I guess, today.
And Greg, Robbie's been trying to reach out to you. So if you're listening, please hit him back. We'd love to have you on the show, right, Robbie?
Absolutely. We'd love to have Greg Hyder come on and obviously sort of, talk about his great career and obviously talk about those things we mentioned that, what he's sort of doing with the youth over there in Perth. So no, that's awesome. And yeah, what about yourself?
Most definitely.
I can see, I know what that jersey is and I like it. So I'm looking forward to hear you talk about it.
I know you do. So I'll just stand up, Robbie, and why don't you take the listeners through?
Sounds
through
good.
the jersey.
Woody's wearing a retro West Sydney Razorbacks Simon Dwight, the landlord jersey. Now, in a quick little story, I'll just tell you as Woody's sitting down, Woods actually did wear that one to the game we went to last week, and he must have had about 20 people comment on him about that jersey at the game, right, Woods?
I got a lot of love for it, man. So it was really nice to wear it out to the Kudos Bank Arena and get some appreciation for some basketball fans who know their stuff, right? So, look. You mentioned the landlord. Well, he was born in Melbourne and went to the Australian Institute of Sport. So I'll just go into a few of his accolades. Well, he spent the first few years with the Canberra Cannons before moving to the West Sydney Razorbacks, where he became their leader. He led the league in blocks an incredible 8 times, Robbie. And over a 10-year career, the landlord averaged 3.3 blocks per game. In 1997, he was actually averaging close to 4.5 blocks per game, And I think, Robbie, his game would have translated today. He could stretch the floor, rebound and block shots. Those kind of mixed skill sets are priceless in today's game. And he actually had an opportunity to go over the NBA, but he didn't actually take it up, He was just comfortable here in Australia and didn't really, want to, leave his comfort zone and his family and things like that. And he actually finished up playing at just 29 after he'd been told he could suffer, permanent and debilitating knee problems if he continued to play. So, I mean, he's the greatest shot blocker in NBL history, but he did achieve a lot through that 10 years that he was in this league, right, Robbie?
He did, right, man. And I think he's sort of someone that's been forgotten about a little bit. And yeah, you're right. Sort of having to retire at age 29 due to injuries, pretty hard to take. I mean, if he could have added another 3 or 4 years on that, he might have been sort of really considered amongst the the NBL great big men. He probably still is already with his defensive accolades, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. And as you said, he does get not spoken about enough. And even on the show with Body, when we picked our greatest NBL starting 5 of all time, I think he made your second list, did he from memory?
Yep, that second of about 5 lists I made. Yeah, he did make that. So yeah, love the way that guy went about it back in the day. And I think really good point that you said as well, Woods, about how his game would translate in today's sort of play. I mean, he did have a good outside shot, didn't he? He sort of really stretched the defense out and everything. And I'm sure that would be something in this modern era that he'd sort of continue to work on. So no, good call with that.
Right. Well, thanks, Robbie. Great jerseys today from us, I think. So let's kick off some Hawks talk today, right? And I'm a bit concerned about us. What's our record sitting at the moment, Robbie? Is it 13 and 14?
So 13 and 14. So we've dropped under 500 again, which is a little bit concerning. It's been strange, hasn't it, mate? I mean, I think the big one for me is these fourth quarters have been really concerning. I mean, we saw, obviously at the time of recording, we're recording on Thursday the 16th. So I think we're actually in action at the moment playing against Orlando. But yeah, the game previous to that, we lost at home to Houston and gave up a big lead. A little bit of a worry. And I guess it sort of continues that form this year where we sort of seem to go on all these strange sort of streaks. We had a big losing streak, then we went on a long winning streak. And now I believe we've lost 5 in a row at home. So, yeah, what are your thoughts on how we're looking at the moment?
Well, the East isn't going to be a cakewalk this year. You got teams like Cleveland coming and unexpectedly playing better than we thought. And, even getting into that top 8 it's not going to be easy, right? Or top 10 even for a play-in spot. So we got a lot of work to do. But let's talk about some positives, right? And I know we've been struggling a little bit, but I mean, Kevin Herter, we talked on a previous show about how he had a really slow start to the season. I think you gave out his shooting percentages, and they weren't looking great at all. But he's now actually turned that around. He leads the team in net rating. So, he's really playing well after that slow start, right? So
he has. And I like when they sort of get him involved in the offense early. I think we saw in that game against the Nets. I mean, look, it's going back quite a few days now, but, I think Trey had, 3 assists and Red Velvet knocked down 3 shots in the first 5 minutes of the game. So he's one of those sort of players I think they like to sort of get him involved early. And yeah, look, I mean, obviously we've needed him to step up with a bit of sort of injuries in the front court there, but I think there is a few of these guys coming back. I think I heard that Bogey's probably not far from being back. We know DeAndre Hunter's going to be back in January as well. So there's some troops on the way. It feels like we've just kind of got to weather this storm at the moment. And honestly though, Woods, we've got to beat these teams that are below us in the standings. We can't be losing to Houston. We can't be losing to Orlando. They're the games that we just have to win with our talent there, right?
Yeah, I mean, 136 points we gave up to Houston. That's just not acceptable, right?
Yeah, any chance of some defense, right?
Right. And I mean, Okongwu will help that on the defensive end, because he's very committed to that end of the floor, and he's just been assigned to our G League affiliate, which makes his comeback imminent, which is promising, right?
Yeah, I noticed that. And look, I think he's played one game already in the G League with the College Park Skyhawks, and he got 10 points and 15 rebounds. So that was his first game since the conference finals, last season sort of thing. So it'll be great to have him come back. And that's that kind of two-headed monster, the big man position with him and Clint Capella, because I think a lot of it's falling on Clint Capella's shoulders at the moment. And I think Capella's a good defender, but I think him and Okongwu together are sort of a bit of a tandem there that'll certainly improve us, right?
Yeah, 100%. I'm looking forward to watching him play. He was so promising last year, and we saw that in the playoffs. That he has a great future ahead of him. So really excited about that. Now, I'm also hearing talk that Langston Galloway is potentially in talks to be added to our roster. We know Solomon Hill is now out for the season, right? So having that veteran at the end of the bench, is he going to be able to help us if we do pick him up?
Mate, Langston Galloway, when I heard that news, I was literally going to throw a party. I thought it was just no, actually, I'm wrong there. I don't see that move sort of being anything of use there, to be honest, man. I think he'll just be sort of, sitting at the end of the bench. I think we've seen your boy TLC, taking a few more minutes there. So, look, I think Galloway's just a bit of insurance there, but, who knows? I think when some of these guys come back from injury, he'll probably be waived pretty quickly, I would have thought.
Yeah. Well, I agree with you there, but it's just an extra body maybe for a short while, right?
True.
What about the Xmas Day game? I know we got on Boxing Day, obviously here. I'll be at the cricket at the MCG, but you and your brother are going to tune in, aren't you?
Looking forward to it. Yeah, look, I mean, I'm planning on watching a lot of games with my brother. Unfortunately, the Hawks game is the 4 a.m. game, so I'm not a good morning person, Wood, so I don't know how I'll go with that. It might be one of those ones where I sort of wake up at a more, reasonable time, maybe after 7 sometime, and kind of watch it like it's live. But yeah, it is really good to see the Hawks get that Christmas Day game. And look, we saw obviously a great, series against the Knicks in the last sort of playoff series there, with sort of Trey playing that sort of villain role at Madison Square Garden. So yeah, looking forward to that. It's a very rare, Hawks Christmas Day game for us to watch, right?
Awesome. Yeah, no, it's really good that we got that slot. And with Orlando we're playing against Orlando today on right now, I think. So
yeah, I'm going to avoid the score. I don't want to get distracted, but I hope we're going to win that one, right?
Definitely. All right. Thanks, Robbie. So let's move on to some NBL discussion. Huge week. One of the best rounds in recent memory in the NBL round 2. And I was actually a guest on the NBL Pocket podcast this week. You would have heard me.
Shout out. Yep.
So thanks for having me, guys. Joseph and Andrew. It was a honor to chop it up with you, but we don't want to sort of go into a lot of the things that we touched on in that episode. So why don't you kick it off? I mean, what are your thoughts on the round that just passed, Robbie?
Yeah, definitely. Well, probably good to start with that game that we actually attended together right there, Woods.
Yes.
So we went to the Illawarra and Sydney game last Saturday night, and yeah, really enjoyed sort of, it was the first sort of game I'd sort of seen live for a while, and yeah, enjoyed it. I think my takes from that one, very impressed with the Hawks. They're such a loaded team. I just like some of the additions they've had to this team. And I think I sort of mentioned to you as well, you can tell they're all really playing for each other. It was really sort of noticeable for me, even guys like AJ Ogilvy, who barely got on the court. He was being such a good cheerleader. He was the first one off the bench and high-fiving people when they were sort of coming off and everything like that. So that was quite obvious to see that there. I think Gorgin's got, the whole team clicking there. But the big one for me was Duop Reith, right? I mean, that guy, I mean, look, we expected a lot from him coming into the season, fresh off the Boomers campaign. But, I mean, he got 27 points, in that game, shooting and 7 rebounds, shooting
7
12 of
rebounds, yeah.
17. Hit a couple of threes. So, yeah, I mean, he's got the complete package there, doesn't he? The big thing I noticed with Reith as well, and I'm not sure what your thoughts on that were, Woods, but his handles as well. He's he can handle the ball, he can step back and shoot that outside shot. So probably a few things there that I maybe didn't know that he had that complete game there. But yeah, what were your sort of take on that game and some of the things we talked about?
Well, Duop Reed, for a guy that size, to have that skill set is just very unique. And I agree with you. Like, he's not just a catch and shoot guy, which I thought that, he would be, right? He can put that ball on the floor, get to his spot, get to that mid range, and, he can post up. He brings it in a lot of ways, Robbie. So he was really impressive.
Absolutely.
Our Sydney Kings, my Sydney Kings, sorry, they fought. I know your boy Wani Swakala Bullock got a start,
Yep.
Got an opportunity, which he wouldn't have seen in Perth, actually, but I think Coach Buford put some faith in him. Angus Glover was promising, but I just don't get it with our injuries. I mean, RJ Hunter, they said Jordan Hunter was going to play. I still haven't heard what happened to RJ Hunter. Jalen Adams, we know he's got
I'm sort of the same
injury
with the Wildcats, Woods. Like, how are these teams having so many, I don't know what the go is there, but all these injuries, within the sort of second round there. So that's right. I think, obviously the Sydney team, that starting five, you probably won't see again this year, right, with some of the people they brought out. But yeah, it's a bit of a concern. I think, do you know whether the Sydney sort of guys are coming back for this week's game or tonight's game?
Well, I mean, on the injury report on NBL, .com.au doesn't say that there's any injuries so far. I mean, Jalen Adams is still probably nursing that ankle.
The report needs to be worked on. I'm telling you, we talked about it a couple of weeks ago. It's very vague. I think they need to sort of be a bit more transparent. Maybe I don't know whether it's the teams or the league there, but come on, give us a bit more news on this NBL injury report. We've got fantasy teams to run, right?
Yeah, man, 100%. And that's been the case for a while now. But I'm really hoping we get our guys back and these injuries aren't too serious because we did fight against that Illawarra team despite being depleted, So it was a great game to be at live, Robbie.
Good.
So
Yep.
Okay, so let's maybe move on quickly to what I said was probably going to be the game of the round, and it ended up being an amazing double overtime game between Brisbane and Perth. I know you enjoyed watching the game, maybe not the results though, right?
It was hard work watching that game at times. Real sort of game of runs, wasn't it? I actually thought Brisbane were probably going to take out the win, in regulation, and then Cotton sort of stepped up, got it to overtime, and then it was kind of Vic Law against Sobey in that second overtime. But yeah, very impressed with Brisbane. I think they're probably a team that's floating under the radar a little bit. They're quite deep there. We haven't sort of seen their complete team as well this year. But yeah, obviously, Robert Franks looked really good in that game, didn't he? And I know your boy Lamar Patterson as well. I mean, how good was he in that game as well, right?
He's looking fit. He stayed around here in the off season and played in NBL 1.
Yep.
And he's probably come into this season as in as good a shape as he has before, right? To start a season. And that can be seen in his performance on the court. So it's good to see.
Absolutely. So, look, I think Brisbane's one of those teams, certainly after these first few weeks, I think they're going to be pushing for a top 4 spot there. So it's obviously so deep there. I'm not sure who they might sort of potentially take over a spot from there. Hopefully it's not one of our teams, right? But, yeah, they were impressive. But, yeah, like I said, that was hard work for a Wildcats fan to watch that game.
Yeah, and with Perth, and I mentioned that speaking on the NBL Pocket podcast as well, Gleason was running great offensive sets for different players to get them good looks. And Scott Morrison said it in the press conference, it's on me to sort of put my players in better positions, right?
Yeah.
And it's going to take a while for him because there's a lot of one-on-one play, give the ball to Cotton, give the ball to Law, and just go and get a bucket, right?
There was, right. It was kind of those guys. I mean, look, Blanchfield was back and he had a really good game as well. But I think it's probably been a little bit hard for our version of ScoMo, just sort of coaching the team. We've had a lot of outs, like we mentioned with Sydney before. So, hopefully sort of Hodgson will be back. Fraser's missed 2 weeks with a cork. That must be the world's worst cork for him to miss 2 full weeks of that. So I'm not quite sure what's going on there. But yeah, look, obviously I think, Wildcats got a couple of games this weekend, obviously again at home. So we need to keep winning these games at home because who knows what's going on in this COVID world at the moment. The Wildcats might be playing the rest of the season, on the road at this rate. But we'll see.
And like with Majuk and Hodgson having questionable injury histories, I just noticed Thon Maker's been released from his contract in Israel. I'm sure a lot of teams and Wildcats included would be interested in going after his services now. Right?
It's an interesting one, isn't it? I mean, his name was sort of mentioned at the start of the season there. Geez, I would have loved to have got him there. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see what we sort of do there because I don't know. I mean, if Fraser's injury continues to linger, do they maybe sort of consider cutting ties with him and bringing Thon in as an Aussie? I'm not quite sure. I'll obviously sort of watch this space there, but I'll be all up for him coming home for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's going to help some team if he does decide to come back home, even if it's not Perth. Okay, so maybe let's just quickly move on. I know it's been spoken about a lot, the melee between in the throwdown between Southeast Melbourne and Melbourne, Creek and Peatling. So maybe let's just touch on that really quickly now that the punishments have been handed out and stuff. What are your thoughts,
Was there
Robbie?
a melee, Woods? I hadn't heard about. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, we've heard a lot about that, right? Look, I actually think the NBL probably did a pretty good job with how they've come down with that, giving sort of Peatling that one game. It was an absolute clown move by him. There's no other way to describe it there. Look, I think the issue with that is it could have actually escalated further. We saw it sort of spill over into the crowd. The first thing I'm doing as a parent there, I'm looking around in the crowd and you're seeing kids there, and you can see these kids are obviously quite rightly scared when these sort of things happen. So for me, if Peatling hadn't have done his clown move there, none of that would have happened. And we know, look, you spoke about it on the NBL Pocket podcast. We know that sort of goes back to some history that him and Creek have got. I don't think it was him just flying a flag for his team. I think that was a little bit more personal there, right?
Yep.
So, look, I think they got it right with their fines there. I don't think the $350 fines for a lot of the players that sort of came off the bench are going to hurt them too much. But Peatling getting a game, I think that's probably fair enough. And look, it was a good game. I mean, it was, obviously that rivalry is sort of going to continue there. It was an amazing play by Mitch Creek. It's getting a lot of run over the world, right? I mean, there's been sort of talk all over the place about that. 2 ex-NBA players involved in the play, I guess they're right. But I mean, I think probably we've said enough on that one there, right? They've and obviously there was a little sort of melee in the Sydney Illawarra game as well with Angry Angus, right?
Right next to where we were sitting, man. So we got a close-up view of that right at the end of the game when the result was already,
And look, I didn't mind that. I mean, I think he obviously played with that bit of passion against his old team there. He was very fiery throughout the game, wasn't he? That was pretty obvious. But, look, he played well. So I think there's no sort of dramas with how that unfolded.
And in the words of Corey Homicide William, shout out to Angus Glover. Playing great.
Yep, 100%. Yeah. And we had him in a few predictions, didn't we? I know we both got him in our fantasy team, so I'm all for Angus Glover playing well, right?
Yeah. As I said on the Pocket podcast, by all reports, he's a really good kid. So after having all the recent injury histories and what he's gone through, it's really good to see.
Definitely.
All right. So, Robbie, maybe we'll just quickly go into the games for this week and give our tips really quickly. We'll just jump through that in a timely manner, let's say.
Sounds good. Should mention as well, Woods, we're 2 weeks in and I'm already two tips ahead of you in the tipping comp. So at this rate, I might just sort of move one ahead of you each week. So I'm enjoying that so far. But
despite the mistake that the footy tips,
they fixed it. Noticed. Yeah, for some reason on our footy tips website where we're sort of involved in a few tipping competitions there, they had New Zealand beating Southeast for some reason, but it has been changed now. So, geez, we've got a lot of games this weekend, right? That's a busy slide.
You want to take us through them then, Robbie?
Yeah, we'll go through it, I guess. So, we're sort of starting off tonight. So I think the games sort of run from Thursday all the way through to next Wednesday. So nearly a week's worth of games. So let's just give some quick tips, right, Wood? So we've got Melbourne and Sydney tonight. Who do you like?
Sydney.
I'm going to take Melbourne. I'm not sure if Golding's back, but I sort of like the way they sort of played last week. I'm going to say Melbourne. The Hawks against Breakers in the next game.
I'm going to take Hawks at home, right?
I'm going to take Hawks probably for quite a while until they start losing, I reckon. Yeah, that's probably going to be a standard pick. Then on Friday night, of course, we've got the replay or the rematch of the Wildcats and Brisbane game. Brisbane's obviously sort of hung around in Perth. Who do you like for that one?
It's going to be a good game, Robbie, but I think Perth will want to get one back on Brisbane after that.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to lose 2 in a row at home. So, I like the Wildcats for that one. We should mention as well, Sydney have got 3 games this week, right? So that's pretty unheard of that a team plays 3 games in 1 week. So, their second game of the round comes against Southeast Melbourne. So I know you're pretty disappointed you can't go to that game, I guess.
Yeah, I'm actually traveling to Melbourne, on Saturday morning, so I'm just going to miss out on that game. But I'll watch it tonight on TV, Robbie. And even though the favorite would be probably Southeast Melbourne, even though Sydney's at home. That one's on Saturday night, right? Yeah. So I'll just miss it. Yeah. So Sydney at home against Southeast Melbourne. I'm going to have Sydney.
So I'll take Southeast. So that's 2 different with the Sydney game. So I could potentially be 4 in front, or you could even tie it with these games. We'll see how we go with that. Then we've got Cairns and Adelaide. That's a tough one, I thought, to pick.
Tough one.
Yeah.
Tough one. I'm going to go with Cairns. I mean, it was an ugly victory. I mean, it really depends on Scott Machado's health. If he's not fit, then I'd probably go with Adelaide. But Oh, man,
I'll go
it's
Cairns as
tough.
well for that one, right?
Yep,
I think they've
yep,
got to start winning some of these home games. Yep, that's a good one.
yep.
The next one, I quite like this game as well. We've got Melbourne against New Zealand. Obviously, New Zealand continuing to play every single game on the road, which is tough for them. But look, I'll say Melbourne for that one to sort of get the double victory this weekend. What about yourself?
Well, if my predictions are right, then both Melbourne and New Zealand will be going into this game without a victory. So Melbourne will be hungry to win it, and at home against New Zealand. New Zealand will be competitive in these games, but I mean, it's going to be tough road if they lose both these. But I'll go with Melbourne. Yeah.
Okay, yep. And we've got a really good game coming up, Brisbane against the Hawks. Look, I said before, I'm going to keep picking the Hawks. So, yeah, Hawks for me for that one.
Likewise, Hawks.
Yeah,
I got Hawks. Yeah.
I like that big man matchup in that game. Franks again against Reith there. That could be quite.
No, that's going to be awesome.
Definitely, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Look, then we've got my boys again on Sunday. So the Wildcats playing the Jack Jumpers. Look, I'm pretty hopeful the Wildcats will win that. Obviously, we know the Jack Jumpers are a little bit of a Wildcats version 2, right, with all the sort of ex-players and Scott Roth sort of coaching them and everything. So that could actually favour them. They might know a few of the players, but obviously they probably won't know the game plan given that Perth have a new coach. So yeah, Wildcats for me for that game.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun game. A lot of guys coming back to a court a place that they're very familiar with. But I can't see Tasmania going into RAC Arena and getting that victory. So I'm going to go with Perth. Yeah,
cool, man. And look, the last game of the round, I actually haven't mentioned this to you, Wood. So it's Sydney against Tasmania. I might actually be doing something very rare next week and going to a game without you. So it's not very often I go to a Sydney game. So look, I may be going to that game. I know my brother and his family are hopefully up for Christmas if this COVID stuff stays under control. So I may go to that game. We'll see how we go. But yeah, look, I'll say Sydney for that one. It's obviously a pretty tough road trip, isn't it, for Tasmania? Sort of going to Perth and then coming to Sydney to play two of the championship heavyweights.
Yep. Obviously, I got Sydney in that one because, as you said, Sydney's got 3 games this week. So I've got Xavier Cooks as my captain in fantasy.
Yeah, me too.
Right.
I think a lot of people will, right? I mean, he's obviously the standout player for Sydney there. So yeah, if you're playing fantasy, captain Cooks for the 3 games.
Yep. Smart decision, Robbie.
Good stuff. All right, what a big round, right?
Really looking forward to it, Robbie.
Yeah, because I think the next week, there's only sort of single games. I think each team's only playing once. So I like this, as we said, we're getting games from Thursday all the way through to next Wednesday. So, everyone sort of check out those games and continue to support the NBL.
Yep, awesome. Thanks, Robbie. Well, now we're at my favorite part of the show, as you know.
Too right.
And I got a unique pack today. I got the 94-95, as mentioned earlier, Ultra Flair Series 2. Now, do you remember these cards, Robbie?
I will when I see them. I don't remember them right now, so I'm looking forward to the surprise to see what they look like. Let's do this.
Hopefully it's easier to open this one.
It's not stuck together like those Skybox ones the other week, right?
Hold on, Robbie. Maybe have a chat. I'm going to go get a pair of scissors to make this a bit easier for me.
All right, so as you can see, we're getting some of these packs of cards. So what are we talking? It's about, 26 years old, that pack of cards there. So it's interesting. The old NBA Hoops ones we're getting are all pretty good. They're all sort of opening well, but some of these mid-90s ones with the Skybox and the Flair and everything are a little bit sort of tougher. So Woody's called in the big guns with the scissors there, and let's see what he's got. Yeah, that crisp pack being opened, right? For anyone that wasn't sure if these packs were already opened, I think here's the proof.
Oh, man, they are sticking together because they're, 25 years old now?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I do remember them quite well, actually. All right, we're going to start off with Milwaukee Bucks center Alton Lister.
Oh, wow. Big man that also played with the Sonics and got, sort of played with those Kemp teams and everything back in the day.
Sure did.
Wow. Yeah, I remember those cards now. Yep.
All right.
And sorry, he played for Golden State. I'm going to correct myself already before we go into next week, right? Alton Lister. It wasn't the Sonics.
Golden State.
Dumped over by Kemp. So quick correction so I don't have to do it in the next episode. Phew.
And we've got not Magic Irvin Johnson, but Irvin Johnson.
Oh,
we all remember.
Irvin Johnson, the big man. I bet he's a lot of people that people have completely forgotten about or never sort of heard of before. So he didn't have a long career, did he, that Irvin Johnson there? He had a couple of decent seasons, a good defender, but he sort of seemed to fizzle out pretty quickly.
Early 2000s. I think he did stay in the league for 6 or 7 years.
Okay.
Did he go to Minnesota for a little while afterwards? I think he might have.
Possibly so, yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong. We'll fact check it. All right. I love this guy, Later on in his career, I think he played for the Suns. Oliver Miller,
oh, wow.
big man.
I've got an Oliver Miller Phoenix Suns jersey in one of my cupboards there, Woods. We might pull it out for a later episode. So, yeah, he was a highly skilled player, wasn't he, Oliver Miller?
Yeah. Big boy.
Hot plate.
Yeah. All right. Now we've pulled this guy's card previously, and I think it was a Sacramento card in the 1991 Hoop Series. But now we got a Chicago Bulls card. The
Oh,
Canadian
big
man,
Billy
Bill
Wennington.
Wennington.
Great card. I actually saw him filling in for Stacey King in the Bulls commentary team, I think in one of their recent games. So, yeah, it's a classic, Bill Wennington.
Nice. Oh, this is a guy I haven't thought of in a while, playing with, Doug Christie and George Lynch and those guys. Tony Smith from the LA Lakers.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yep, he was pretty decent, wasn't he? Yeah, it's
Yeah,
definitely not a name I've thought about for a while.
for
I'm
a
liking
long
this.
time.
We're getting some different sort of names in this pack. We're not getting sort of
Yeah.
Cliff Robinson or Mike Sanders or Chris Ford or anything yet.
Okay, this guy made our top 10 list.
Ooh,
Okay, on the Hawks
ooh,
top
we got
10
a Hawks.
list. Yes, though he's not. It's not his Hawks card though. Okay.
Okay.
All right. One of the most underrated big men, one-time All-Star. Who are we talking about? Kevin Willis.
What is that card? Some special rebound sort of card, right?
Yeah, rebound king. It's an insert,
Well,
right?
that's true. Yeah,
Yep.
it was a rebound.
Absolute beast on the boards,
I like
right?
that one. It's funny. I did not remember that card. Maybe I sort of didn't get that one in my collection.
Sacramento Kings. Brian Grant.
Oh yeah. Wow, that's going back, isn't it? So Brian Grant is in the Dreadlocks. Brian Grant.
Yeah, I think that
the
was
one that
him
was sort of
before.
involved in the Miami Heat trade, right? For
Yeah.
the Shaquille O'Neal trade with Caron
Yeah.
Butler and those sort of guys, Lamar Odom.
I think this is before he grew his dreads, right?
Yeah, I think so. That was, I think we started with the Kings, didn't he? So yeah, that's a blast from the past.
Yeah, man. Okay, this is one I haven't heard of in a long time. Zan Tabak.
Oh wow, the big man there. Where was he from, Woods? What's his country of origin? Putting you on the spot there, right?
Croatia.
Yep, that's right. That's a nice looking sky he's got there.
Yeah.
And he's got that 90s flat top down pat too.
Yeah. Oh, we pulled this man's card with Liam the other day. Greg Oden, before Greg Oden.
Oh, Big Sam.
You know what I'm talking about? And this was when he was with the Lakers in 94.
Yep.
In the 95 season. Sam Bowie.
Wow. Yeah, I don't remember him sort of doing too much with the Lakers there. That's a funny one, isn't it? Sam Bowie. We sort of told that story that he was drafted over Jordan in that historic draft. So yeah, injuries certainly cost him a decent career, didn't they?
Yep. Totally.
Where's the superstars, Woods? Come on, man.
Okay, well, we've got a guy I've never actually heard of. Charlotte Hornets, Greg Sutton.
Oof. Wow. I remember the name. I don't know a lot about him. He might have been a point guard from memory, but yeah, well, that's testing me there. Greg Sutton. Geez, we're getting all the no-name players this week.
I talked about this guy the other day, briefly when we pulled that Orlando Magic card. Tree Rollins.
Big Tree, and Atlanta Hawks, great.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at some of those all-time Atlanta Hawks defensive records, he's sort of right up there, Big Tree Rollins. Obviously, Josh Smith's sort of on a lot of those records now as well. But yeah, Big Tree, I certainly remember that guy well. What a nickname too, right?
Yep. And then finally, we've got John Crotty, Utah Jazz.
Wow, this might go down as the most random pack we've had so far, right?
Right.
Yeah,
so random.
There's a lot of players there. I mean, look, I'm remembering some of these names. I don't have many stats for, Sutton and Zan Tabak and this guy here, but yeah, I like it. I like that old Jazz jersey there as well.
I remember using him on NBA Action on my Sega Mega Drive, so I don't remember much more about that. Yeah.
Hey, show me the back of one of those cards, Woods. Refresh my memory what they look like. Okay, so they got the full picture and then just their most recent stats down the bottom or something, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Jeez, I don't think a lot of people are going to remember John Crotty, but there you go.
All right. So, Robbie, let's... it's been a great show, but I think we're coming to the end now, right?
Yeah, man.
And I think just a few things I want to go through last week when, this is the time for fact-checking from last week, as you said. Last week when responding to Liam, I meant to say Isaiah Moss had a very impressive season in the NZBL, but accidentally referred to him as Mikhail McIntosh. So sorry about that, guys. My apologies. I was speaking about McIntosh just before, so just pointing that out.
All good, man.
So thanks for tuning in. As I mentioned at the start of the show, please subscribe to us on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcasts. We can be followed on Twitter at Throwbacks Hoops, so with an S. And if you're watching the show, you'll see it just below you on the screen. We have an Instagram account now, which is throwback.hoops at Instagram. And if you want to send in an email or a viewer question or anything, we're at throwbackhoopspodcast@gmail.com. I also have a TikTok channel, Woody V _83, where we give some highlights and clips about what each episode entails and some of the jerseys that we're wearing. And finally, we've got our Patreon going now, Robbie. So it's www.patreon.com/throwbackhoops. If you like the podcast and the show, please pledge your support to us. It helps us with production, editing, and all the expenses associated with maintaining the program. We'll also give our Patreon members insights into some of the special guests and segments we will be having on upcoming shows, Robbie. And we'll have some special initiatives that we will have for our members, which we'll announce throughout the season.
Absolutely.
And now we have some Throwback Hoops mugs in addition to our t-shirts, right, Robbie?
We do, mate. Hot off the press, the Throwback Hoops mug. So yeah, so all our Patreon members will sort of get one of those. But yeah, I'm liking that. I'm going to give you your one tonight at the game. So yeah, next episode you'll be able to have your water out of that, mate.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to it, Robbie. Can't wait to get the mug off you tonight. So a big round, as you mentioned, a lot of games, Robbie. I said earlier, I'm heading to Melbourne on Saturday. I mean, I would probably already be in Melbourne by the time this episode comes out. So until this, I'll be there until the 2nd of January. And can you believe there's only one game while I'm there for 2 weeks?
Crazy,
and it's on
Yeah.
Sunday the 19th, which actually clashes with my cousin's 21st, the reason I'm going over there. So it's a bit unfortunate. I don't miss all the Sydney home games while I'm there. At least
Like
you'll be
3
able to...
games, right, I think.
Yeah.
That's unheard of for you, yeah.
You'll be able to fly the flag, though, as you said, and go to one or two of those games.
Yep.
So we'll be back in the New Year's. We're taking a little bit of a break. However, there will be a special episode released over that summer break period. Do you want to tell the audience a little bit about that, Robbie?
Yeah, definitely, man. So look, as you said, we are going to take a well-earned break now. We're up to episode 12 now. We've obviously been putting sort of a lot of time sort of into getting these shows out sort of each week. So, but yeah, you're right. We are going to do a special sort of viewer questions, viewer mailbag type episode. So there's still time. If anyone's got any sort of questions, please send them through. Woody's just read out the details there, so you can either hit us up on Twitter or send us an email, whichever way you want to get in contact with us there. But yeah, we're looking forward to do that. So that episode will probably sort of be released probably after Christmas. So we'll try and get that up sort of between Christmas and the New Year's. And then, yeah, we'll certainly be back in the New Year's and ready to go for another sort of another big season and a lot of episodes to come.
Yeah, thanks, Robbie. And man, usually over this summer break, we catch up, we spend time together, but I'm gone for 2 weeks, man. You're going to miss your boy, huh?
What am I going to do? Yeah. Mate, I'm sure we'll be chatting every day. I mean, I don't know how many times we probably speak to each other twice a day on the phone and about 5 to 10 messages. So I'm sure that'll continue. But yeah, definitely, you go down and enjoy the time with your family and everything else like that. And I'm looking forward to do the same here. And yeah, I guess we obviously sort of wish all our viewers a really sort of merry and happy Christmas in in a week's time or whatever it is, and sort of stay safe. Enjoy your time around your family and. Yeah, we can't wait to sort of be back again in the new year. Well, certainly before that with the mailbag and then back in the new year with some fresh episodes. And look, we've teased it a bit as well, Woods, but we've got some great guests to come in the new year. I think we've already got 4 or 5 people lined up already, and there's some big names there as well. So, yeah, keep subscribing and tuning in and look forward to bring those to you.
Yep, you said it all, Robbie. You covered it all there. It's been a tough year for everyone, so having some time with your family and friends at the festive part of the year is going to be good for everyone. And as you said, thanks to everyone for all your support throughout 2021. We will have that mailbag episode coming to you shortly. Much love to everyone and the Throwback Hoops family, right, Robbie?
That's right, boy. Everyone, thanks for tuning in. We can't wait to sort of be back. And yeah, thanks for all the love and support you've all been giving us.